piranha from outside to come and snip at our little tail fins and stuff. Through self-determination, we can say exactly what we want. I don't want to come over here year after year after year and fight at a political level. When Masonite went out 5 or 6 years ago, then's when we should have come together as a community and said we have a prime industrial site with all the infrastructure. Let's sit down and say what we want for this industrial site. And then we could have implemented a lot of ideas. And we haven't done that. Now we're up against a political fight with a shopping center. That's just not the way we should be doing business. Finally, on a positive note, the Ukiah Valley Smart Growth has held 2 economic development forums. We did better on attendance than you did. We filled them with a couple hundred people each time, full houses. The community is very concerned about economic development. We have some very talented resources in this community. I had the privilege of being on the West Company board for about 4 years. You should see the proposal that Sheila Rogers has submitted to us under the contest, Venture Campus. We have 14-year-olds in a classroom, Skatopia. They want a skateboard recreational component out there, and they want to manufacture skateboards. How cool is that? There's a lot of opportunities with this contest coming up, and I'm hoping that we can start thinking. Steve Swyback nailed it exactly. Without this communication, and as we sit down as a community, we have amazing opportunities and ideas, and we have a tendency to shoot ourselves in the foot, and as Jim Shields says, it's not bad enough we shoot ourselves in the left foot, we load up the gun and we shoot ourselves in the right foot. And we've got to stop doing that. And so I'm hoping that you will go forward with this economic development and not just talk about it, but listen to the community. The Mendo Futures is really dead on target. And every one of those things they talked about could go on the Masonite property because everything's there for it. And that's the way we need to start thinking. Thank you.
Thank you. Lisa Hilligus.
Here, Chairman.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Lisa, excuse me.
Just before it closes, I just want to comment on the railroad. I think things are moving forward as the representative of Mendocino County to the authority. Things are moving forward. The problem is not the lack of support from the county. You've got a membership of that particular agency that is highly supported. We've got a political problem, and it is being dealt with Chris Neary from Willits, who is counsel for this. He's done a good job of challenging each and every move by Novato and Marin County and so on and so forth, and working its way through. The problem is it's taking an awful lot of time away for a rather small staff from doing the work that needs to be going forward. But the work is being done with the signal, it's being done with the crossing, it's being done with the bridges. But again, each effort to go forward with the railroad is being challenged by Novato and a very much invested part of the Marin Novato community. And I think there's no question that there is support, almost unanimous support, with the exception of the 2 Marin County representatives.
Well, bite their heads off.
Well, we do, but I can't tell you how we do that.
Thank you. Lisa.
Hi, Lisa Hilligus from Legal Services of Northern California, and I just wanted to stress that economic development is one of the underpinnings of our goals and objectives as a legal aid organization for Mendocino and Lake County, and I'm pleased to be able to be present today to give some of my comments. I think everyone's been in agreement that affordable housing seems to be a primary building block for economic development, but I was disheartened to see that there was no real discussion item or panel to really discuss that, and I urge you to put that onto your next agenda workshop, whether it be the redevelopment agency meetings or another economic development workshop, which I think we do need. In your 2004 economic report for Mendocino County, the focus was there was one paragraph about housing and only housing for moderate income individuals, and I think we can all look at the statistics on who are our employees in Mendocino County, and the largest percentage of them are more lower and low mod income people, and for the growing service sector jobs in our community, those people need housing that's most likely rental housing. And I won't repeat what we all know about what our needs are for affordable housing over and over again today. I think that where the county can provide the strongest and possibly most dynamic involvement in dealing with affordable housing is to just focus on what their obligations and duties are for affordable housing. Strategy D, you've got support ideas, and I suggest that implementing all of the housing element policies and actions for our current housing element, particularly on actions that will have the most potential impact on increasing the development of affordable housing, should be on that list as a bullet item. And not just inclusionary zoning, which has been visited and hopefully will be revisited, but the housing trust fund that Supervisor Smith mentioned, complete the rezoning of acreage for multifamily housing that's actually usable in the near future. Allow multifamily housing by right on commercially zoned properties in the county. These are all in your housing element, and these all would go a long way to increasing the potential for the development of housing. I'd like to echo Don Ballock's comments on the usage of Tony Shaw's responsibilities and duties in the county, and I urge you to take a look at your planning team, which has at least 5 huge planning projects and 2 planners and 1 interim director, and to expect that they're going to be able to do a good job and a timely job, and particularly with the housing element, I think is overly optimistic. I'd like to offer the services of legal services in Northern California and other partners that I work with in affordable housing as far as collaborating on your redevelopment agency, which is sort of in its infancy, particularly with regard to the 20% set aside for low moderate housing. I've been a member of the Ukiah Low Moderate Housing Committee for their redevelopment agency for the past 6 years. I'm working with Clear Lake, the city of Clear Lake at this point, with their redevelopment agency with their housing funds. And I come with a wealth of information and hope that we can increase the communication and come up with a vital and dynamic redevelopment agency and use of those low mod funds. I think that the Ukiah model is something to look at closely, and in the couple decades that they've been in existence, they've come very close to meeting their housing goals in their redevelopment area. So I urge you to consider that offer, and I would very much like to work with the county on that. One thing that wasn't mentioned in a couple of the panels was the need for affordable housing in the tourism areas for those service workers. We have a large percentage that are service employees or farm workers, which weren't mentioned at all, who definitely need affordable housing for those industries to grow and prosper. And it was echoed at the end, but wasn't mentioned at all, about the need for a living wage in this community, in the industrial areas and industry areas that were discussed. We talk about the greening of Mendocino County and putting ourselves at the forefront of the greening, and I say let's put ourselves at the forefront for living wage also. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Tom Becker.
Hi, my name is Tom Becker. I live up in Little River, and I worked in Fort Bragg for the last 9 years, 8 of them with a bank up there as a branch manager. And I retired last year, and I've been involved in economic development with some of these private groups since then. But a couple things I wanted to comment on are a lack of communication, coordination. It's just like this meeting. Nobody knew about it up the coast. I sent out a notice over the last couple of days, and a lot of people called me back and said, sorry, I had other obligations. I knew about it because Kendall told me about it at a leadership Mendocino thing up there a month